on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we're going to review Port Adelaide's clash with Collingwood for round 21. Before I start, just like to quickly say thank you very much for all the support from the beginning. I know we've still got some rounds to go, and if you're new to seeing my reviews, please subscribe. Give it a like as well if you do enjoy it. No pressure on that though. I'm not really one of those people that says like it. It will really help me. I don't really care, just giving my opinion, giving my thoughts on the game in a different way from, you know, all the media and stuff. So if you like it, enjoy it, and all that, subscribe. We're on our way to 200, which is something I never thought was possible. So I appreciate all the support everyone has given me, and all the regular commenters out there. Thank you very much for giving your feedback and thoughts as well. So anyway, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed this review. Because, you know, we won, so yay! Another win on the board for 2017. It wasn't the most convincing win of this year, that's for sure, but nonetheless, it was a good win, a good response, especially from last week. It wasn't pretty, as I said, but we needed to get the job done, and I think we proved that in patches. I wouldn't say it was what we wanted, but Collingwood as a team to come up against probably wasn't the best. You know, bottom 8, bottom 10 wasn't amazing. They're not an amazing team, and they play that defensive type of game where it's almost like keepies off, and so it wasn't really a game we could take a lot out of. The good point is in patches, especially in the second quarter, which I thought was the best quarter of the game for us. We absolutely, I wouldn't say dominated, but it was a game, it was a quarter that we showed that's what we are. That's Port Adelaide. Break off the half-back line, set yourself up, and break through the lines, and just kick goals from persistent inside 50s, and that's what we did. And we did it quite well. The likes of Boak, Need, Sam Gray, they all pulled off goals, running goals as well, which was good to see. Good to see Houston kick his first goal in AFL footy too, from 50 as well, which was an absolute bomb. And it showed his game on the weekend. He needs to be in our 22 every week. Don't care what anyone else says. He's an elite kick, and he needs to be on that half-back line. And with him, Hartlett, and Pittard, they're probably our 3 best half-back flankers. And with the game that Hartlett played on the weekend, it showed that that's his spot. That's the sort of game we want from him every week. He's too inconsistent, especially in the later stages of this year. But I think we can all agree, yeah, he might have caused some turnovers early, but his game, especially in the first half, was really convincing. And if he plays like that every week, we're going to be a good chance of scoring heavily against opposition teams. Doesn't matter who we play. So that's one of my pluses, you could say, positives coming out of the game. Certainly was Hamish Hartlett. Dan Houston, 42 possessions combined between the two. And they just set themselves up really well, which was good to see. Another point I wanted to make, I don't know if anyone else saw this, but I saw in the game yesterday, there were certain points of the game where we were up against it and Collingwood are coming back, and we showed a mental fight. I think when momentum was going towards Collingwood, we steadied ourselves, and we got that late goal in the third, which I thought helped us steady and regain a bit of the momentum. And I just wanted to point out that that mentality to stand up when needed is there. We just need it against better teams. If you play like that against the likes of Geelong, Richmond, Adelaide, even Sydney, if we come up against them, GWS, it's certainly going to be a better opportunity for us to move forward as a better team. Yeah, that's basically that little point there. But Another one I wanted to make was Kenny's selections really worked this week. Need, Johnson. Johnson was the week before, sorry, but he played well. Howard coming into the side. Great. Wingard probably best on ground for Port Adelaide. All fantastic. And I think what helped is giving SPP a rest for him to come back against the Bulldogs, which is going to be difficult in Ballarat. It's going to help. It's definitely going to help. Skills and entries inside 50s were better, but they weren't the best. Is another point that really needs to be fixed. But one more thing before we move on to the things I learnt and all that. 37,533 people there yesterday. Twilight, Sunday, perfect conditions. I thought that was a fantastic crowd from all the Port fans, and it should be appreciated more. We haven't been the best, and especially coming off the game we had last week against Adelaide. Port fans deserve a lot of credit because that was sensational. So, well done. So, moving on to the things I learnt for round 21 against Collingwood, at Adelaide Oval, I should say. Port Adelaide, the football club itself, Keith Thomas and all the membership department deserve a lot of recognition because we are the best at giving members recognition for, being members and being a part of this club, which I thought yesterday was shown really well with one of these. It was a members recognition little card with the little memories on for this year so far. Hopefully better ones are made later on in September and October, dare I say. I'm probably wrong, but I can dare to dream, right? But yeah, so everyone received one of these with a little memory from different players. This one was from round 13 when the young fella got to captain Port Adelaide for the day and Travis Boak gave that over the top. So, yeah, a little memento for each Port fan to take home, which I thought was very nice from the club itself. And we do get that, I think, year on year. So, well done to everyone involved from the membership department. That was really well done. A real nice touch on what's been a pretty positive season so far. Next thing I learnt, Aiden Johnson is a prospect. A real prospect, I think, for the future. He has been sensational. I think, building his career. Yesterday was probably his best game, for sure. But I think he's a real prospect to take on. And I reckon he could really fire up towards September. And, could be an integral part of the team with his speed. His pressure's really good. And I thought his skills weren't bad yesterday at all. Still young-minded. May affect him later on with the pressure of the game. But so far, he's looking brilliantly poised, I should say. Really set up for later on in the year, which is good to see. With the young guys coming through and Kenny giving him an opportunity. Really deserves a spot next week. Speaking of next week, the next thing I learnt coming out of the game, coming out of Adelaide Oval with all my friends, 37,000 of them, next week is a must win. Must win. Not so much to make finals because I think, playing Gold Coast last round, that will probably secure our final spot with a win over them at our home. We'll secure a home final, probably in 6th position. But I think top 4 may be a little bit out of the question. I still think we can make it. Results have to go our way, obviously. And I don't want to cheer on Adelaide next week. I'd like them to lose. Just because I don't know. Just to see them lose. But anyway, other than that, it's really important that we win next week. I think for our own personal mental state to go into finals. Because if we win next week, we should win 3 on the trot and go into finals, finishing 5th, 6th. We get a home final. Big momentum with a break in between that. And the break won't affect us. We need the rest because of, having an early bye is really going to affect us heaps. So, yeah, I think that's fantastic. A fantastic prospect for next week. So, fingers crossed. But yeah, that's the things I learnt for round 21. So the votes for round 21 against Collingwood, as we know, 3 votes for a loss, 5 votes for a win. Yesterday was very difficult to give votes. The game wasn't the best to judge on players and how they played. But I think there were a few standouts for me, and with one vote going to Charlie Dixon. You can agree to disagree. There were a few others probably in his calibre that deserved the extra vote. But 17 possessions for a centre-half forward. His pressure was enormous around the stoppages. Took some key marks at key moments. His hands are solid. That effort on the wing, where he was literally 1-on-4, and he pressured one, tackled another, then he got side bottom, smacked the ball out of the way, and was really, really, really pressured really pressurised them as such. So that was good to see. 2 votes goes to Ollie Wines. 16 contested possessions, 29 possessions as well. On top of that, 1 goal, which was early in the second quarter. But his clearances as well, which was really impressive to see, 9 of them in fact. And people say, he's the one that stands up in our contested area. 16 possessions out of his 29. You can't do much more. He needs to, take a lot of credit for what we're doing in there, even though we're not doing it too well. So, good on you, Ollie. 3 votes goes to Hamish Hartlett. 21 possessions, 10 marks. He was superb in the first half, that's for sure. He wasn't the best in the second half. He did turn a lot of the ball over, but he was playing an absolute blinder, cutting off a lot of the play, setting up the play as well, which was good, because you can do it both ways. You can cut off the opposition's play and then set up our own, and he did that quite a few times, running back and forth, which was really good to see. Him and Houston were really well done. 4 votes goes to Travis Boak. Probably one of his best games for the year, I thought. Especially early, took it on himself to set up our team in the second quarter. 1 crucial goal, and he was just in and out through the contest, and he's really building his form, I think, and kicking 2 crucial goals, which he's done a lot this year. Was good to see. But 5 votes for the best on ground, Chad Wingard. 32 possessions, 10 contested as well, which was good for a running midfielder. 8 marks and 8 clearances as well. So Chad Wingard is on fire at this stage of his career, which is good to see. So, building for next week against the Dogs. Need more to stand up, I think, but good win nonetheless. Well, that does it, Port fans. Round 21 is done and dusted. 2 minor rounds to go. Port Adelaide looks set up to probably get another win. I think they'll get 2 wins. For the first time in a while, we'll get 3 wins on the trot, which I think is very much needed, as I stated before. But yeah, that's another review done. Moving on to the Dogs next week in Ballarat. First ever game in Ballarat. And as we've shown, first games in new places, we seem to win. Adelaide Oval, China, Darwin, I think in 2004. So we've got a habit of winning in new places. So hopefully we continue that trend and win next week. So anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Join me on the Porches Podcast 8 PM on Wednesday night. We'll review Collingwood, preview the Dogs, and everything in between. Have a bit of fun along the way. And yeah, that's it. Anyway, my name's Anthony, and obviously, got a power.